following programming to bring you this biological hazard warning. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Centers for Disease Control and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Several hours ago, it was determined that there were numerous explosions at several different targets across the United States. These attacks were concentrated on areas that housed Level 4 biological agent labs. It is clear at this time that the type of contagion that has been released is a mutated strain of a rhabdovirus. Information released by the Federal Bureau of Investigation states that these attacks were not perpetrated by the Watch. The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security believe that there is another party responsible for these attacks. It is unclear what the purpose of these attacks were, but the federal government believes that the Watch has information in regards to this. At this time, the Watch remains at large in the community and all law enforcement will make every effort to apprehend them quickly. The CDC reminds all citizens receiving this broadcast to remain on alert for signs of flu-like symptoms, and should you develop these symptoms, please go to the nearest hospital immediately. Please be advised that all citizens receiving this broadcast are to remain indoors unless traveling to a hospital or medical clinic. All citizens are asked to return to their homes and a curfew has been assigned to the receiving areas as of 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You are listening to the emergency alert system. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this message. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air to bring you the latest news and information. The emergency alert system has been activated. The following message is being transmitted by order of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Centers for Disease Control. Here is the latest news on the group known as the Watch. Several hours ago, the civil authorities learned that the group responsible for the earlier hostage situation, the Watch, has emerged in Everett, Washington. Approximately 30 minutes ago, the Watch breached the security checkpoint at the NS Navy base in Everett, Washington. The base remains on lockdown as the Watch have taken up a position inside of the base. It is unclear what the situation is at this time. However, all residents within a 15-mile radius of the NS Naval Station in Everett, Washington should be on alert. All roads in a 20-mile radius of the naval base will have a checkpoint station set up. Please continue to listen to this station for all updates on this situation. The CDC has released the information that the numbers of cases of infection from the rhabdovirus contagion have continued to increase over the last 3 hours. The number of cases of infection in the cities of Little Rock, Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, St. Petersburg, Kansas City, Memphis, Jackson, New Orleans, and Pensacola have all reached above 3,000. At this time, civil authorities are continuing to ask that all residents of the mentioned cities return to their homes if they have not already done so, and all residents in a 20-mile radius of the mentioned cities are asked to lock all doors and windows as a precaution. Please stay tuned to this station and other news outlets for all the latest on this situation. You are listening to the emergency alert system. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this message. This station has interrupted regular programming at the request of the United States government to bring you this civil danger warning. The civil authorities in your area have authorized the use of the emergency alert system to keep you informed of situations involving civil danger. The emergency alert system has been activated for your area. We interrupt the following broadcast to bring you this civil emergency message. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. The U.S. government is concerned about the growing situation with the contagion that was supposedly released several hours ago across the continental United States. The U.S. government is also aware that there are growing numbers of incidents of civil unrest in several of the earlier named cities, and there is currently a hostage situation in the cities of Memphis, Tennessee, and Jackson, Mississippi. In both cases, Civilians are holding members of the CDC hostage. We have also learned that the infection has spread outside of the quarantine areas as citizens have failed to remain indoors as ordered by the civil authorities. New reports have come in from Jackson, Tennessee, Vicksburg, Mississippi, and Meriden, Mississippi. At this time, the United States government is prepared to use force to keep citizens indoors. Due to the destructive nature of this virus and the accelerated rate of transmission, the United States government has suspended all international flights and travel in and out of the continental United States as of noon today, until further notice. At this time, the CDC is also now able to confirm the statement made by the Watch yesterday, that this virus is a rabid virus that is very similar to rabies, but with a shorter incubation period. As to the origin of such a virus, the CDC still remains unsure of where it came from. All citizens receiving this broadcast who have not done so already, are ordered to return home and to remain inside of your home until ordered to leave by the civil authorities. All citizens that are outside after 12 p.m. will be taken into custody by the civil authorities. You are listening to the emergency alert system. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this message. This station has interrupted regular programming at the request of the United States government to bring you this civil emergency message. Please stay tuned to this channel for all of the latest news and updates. The emergency alert system has been activated for your area.
This is KDAH Radio in Seattle, and we are back on the air with the latest on this growing situation involving a widespread flu-like epidemic that has torn a trail of destruction across the heartland of the United States. What started as a terrorist attack along the west coast of the United States has turned into a dizzying maelstrom of biological hazards and civil unrest. This station has learned that there is now as many as 3 current hostage situations in the United States at this time. One is in Tennessee, one is in Mississippi, and the third is Everett, Washington, where we have been told that the Watch is in custody of an Air Force base there. We are also just receiving word that the 2 hostage situations that we previously mentioned have been resolved by the civil authorities, and we hope to get more information on those as time goes on. What we know at this point is that there is a severe biological contagion that is loose in the Midwest and that it appears to be spreading at an exponential rate. Apparently, the virus acts on the victim much like rabies does, and there appears to be no known cure at this point in time. Authorities at the CDC are calling this the worst virus that they have seen since the Ebola outbreak in Africa some time ago. Officials are saying that this is a much more aggressive and debilitating form of rabies, with a much shorter incubation period, and more severe symptoms. It also appears that there is little if any information coming from the cities of Little Rock, Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, St. Petersburg, Kansas City, Memphis, Jackson, New Orleans, and Pensacola. News outlets in those areas have been taken over by the emergency alert system, and we have no news.
We are sorry. The number you dialed is permanently disconnected. You are now being connected to the Watch.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Watch. We are a shadow branch of the United States government that keep an eye on the state of the world. At this time, we have talked about the possibility of homegrown terror and the government continuing to use the people of the United States as a testing ground for their biological weapons that they don't use in real war. Here, I want to show you something, so you can see what I'm talking about. We are now inside of the Department of Defense and looking at files that were put together to spread the very plague that is out there right now infecting the streets. The United States government is not telling the public what is really happening with this disease and have issued press blackouts in the cities where the virus is loose. What we have here is a plan called Project Pitbull, where an infected dog makes its way into a major center of population and begins to infect it. Here is a picture within the file. The dog acts like a seek and destroy plan. It goes in, starts the infection, and all the government has to do is contain the people. The virus will do the rest, and the area is rendered uninhabitable. What they are not telling you is the mode of transmission with this particular virus. It is transmitted primarily by bodily fluids. This includes saliva, blood, and semen. They are also not telling you about the amount of cellular breakdown that this virus causes the victim also, and that it can destroy blood vessels, particularly in the eyes. Victims have been witnessed to literally bleed from their eyes, and all of the blood that they shed is contagious. Most importantly is this last page here, as it outlines our friend Matthew Cooper's little plan that I was talking about when I was over at the City Hall. So there you have it, folks. We're going to be keeping an eye on this situation across the U.S. and make sure that you are properly informed as to the real status of this situation. Thank you.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government and the Centers for Disease Control. It is clear that the separatist group known as the Watch has attempted to create a great deal of unrest and panic among the general public with their statement, and there is currently no evidence to support the statements that were made earlier. The U.S. government is urging all citizens receiving this broadcast to remain calm and to stay away from major centers of population to avoid infection. All citizens receiving this broadcast are also reminded to remain indoors until ordered to leave their residences by the civil authorities. The CDC believes that this situation is slowly coming to a close, and that a resolution is slowly approaching. At this time, all news outlets are to be replaced with the emergency alert system, and all updates will come from this medium. Stay tuned to this channel for all the latest news and updates. You are listening to the emergency alert system. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this message. During this emergency, most stations will remain off the air to bring you the latest news and information to the public for your assigned area. The emergency alert system has been activated.
Members of the public, you can see where this is going. The situation is about to get a lot more serious. The government knows more about this disease than they are saying, and they have publicly admitted to that. They have not commented on the name and the variant of this particular strain, but it is called the L3A4 variant. It has a profound effect on the victim as it works in 3 ways. The first stage involves fever, flu-like symptoms, disorientation, and headache. The second stage is a profound change in the mental status, aggression, agitation, and the possibility of hallucinations. The second stage ends with pronounced paralysis over the body. This leads to the third stage, which is a release from the paralysis, and then a spike in anger, aggression, psychosis, sensitivity to light and high-pitched sounds, as well as seizures and excess salivation. We have been told that once a person has shown the initial symptoms, it is already too late. We believe that there are more people infected with this than they are reporting. Otherwise, why the press blackout in the infected areas? This is truly suspect, and something that we have been working on over the last several hours. We have been digging around to find out what has been going on, and there seems to be some intelligence that is saying that the government is. Wait a moment.
You are listening to the emergency alert system. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this message. The civil authorities in your area have authorized the broadcast of this message to keep you informed of situations involving biological hazards. This is a biological hazard message. The United States government will be speaking on all channels shortly. Please stand by for that message. The following administrative message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. It is being reported that a cure for the L3A4 virus has been found by the workers at the CDC in Atlanta, and more information on this will be released shortly. Please stand by for further instructions from the civil authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States government would now like to broadcast the cure.
Reports have been coming in from all over that the devastation to the population has been extreme, to say the least. Due to the media blackout, we were not able to report the latest on this situation, but it looks like the death toll from this event is in the millions. People that were exposed to this signal have been killed in a violent death. We here at KDAH Radio are shocked and appalled at the way that this situation was handled. It seems that the Watch knew that this was going to happen, and it appears that they are going to be a part of the public conscience for some time to come. As a matter of fact, I understand that they are calling right now and have a message that they want to deliver to the public. Please stand by, and we will put them through.
Good morning. Citizens of the United States, we have failed you. Our attempts to stop the government's plot and their plan has been in vain. Countless stations have been reporting to the devastation that has happened as a result of the signal that was sent by the government to the people of those great cities. Millions of people lost their lives, communities are torn apart, and all for the sake of a test on the general population. Well, we have a message for the people responsible for this disaster. You better not sleep, because the Watch will not rest, will not sleep, until you are found. And oh, yes, we will find you. And may God have mercy on you, because we will not. This is The Watch. Goodbye for now.